welcome right on back for more Narcissu side second. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're ready. I guess that's probably a bit of a loaded question when it comes to this series at this point. Who's ever ready? Who's ever ready for Narcissu? We'll get through it together, though. Just me and you. And the last time we were together, looks like we're finally going to tackle that quote-unquote last thing that our girl Himiko was looking to take care of from her list of 10 things that she wanted to do before passing on. And it doesn't look like Setsumi's mom is all that super jazzed about her being involved with a 7th floor patient. But hopefully she's going to be allowed to do what she needs to do and what she wants to do. I'm pretty sure that Himiko kind of wants to help in any way she can, given how far we've come. So, moving on to the next chapter, Half a Prayer. And it looks like we're going right back in to the past to find out how all of this kind of correlates to the present. Hey, hold still. Even if you tell me that, it tickles. The 7th floor's bathroom. Today was the 2nd bathing day of the week. Ah, now I'm soaked too. It's fine. One-san will take a shower while we're here. Even though it could be called wide compared to a normal Holmes bath, it was just slightly wider. When we were 2 in the tub, it was enough to be tight. Not yet. Not yet. Just a bit more and the shampoo's rinse will be done. The girl was squeezing her eyes shut and waited for the end of the shampooing. Even this kind of exchange was now becoming a familiar thing. Alright, and then next is Himiko's barber shop. Opening a hole in the garbage bag and passing her head through, I had the girl sit on the folding chair. If there wasn't any wind, it could have been done on the roof, but mostly the cutting was done in the hospital room. Us helpers were also gardeners, also cleaners, and occasionally barbers. Snip, snip, snip. How is it? I tried making the front all the same. It's a little strange, maybe. Oh, you don't like it being cut straight across? Well, that's not it, but it looks too short. Aw, about this much is cute though, isn't it? Like a kid. Oh. He wants to feel a little more adult, which, you know, understandable. All kids want that. The scent of the shampoos meant spread from the still damp hair into the narrow hospital room. The girl sat on the folding chair that I always sat on, and from a garbage bag, she gave me a bit of a dissatisfied look. On the floor spread 3 sheets of newspaper. It was a barber shop that used 2 small hand mirrors. A few days after, if one looked, it was towards the middle of August. Today, also, the girl was here. Today, too, I was here. I'm gonna say it now. I hate this script now. I'm actively a hater now. Oh, this just literal translations that are like with no finessing at all. They drive me up a wall, and it feels like this one like started with a little bit of it, but like the end of it just did not get another pass or something. Again, it's like reading speed bumps a little bit. Of Okay, let me have that thermometer. Okay. Taking the thermometer that was in her mouth, I read the numbers on the digital display. What temperature? 36.2 degrees Celsius. Yep, with this, it's fine. And then today, ice cream in the courtyard again. Today, I'm thinking of different plans. Different plans? But for that, this comes first. As I answered, I opened the paper bag that I had brought. Half of today's plan was in there. What's that? I brought new clothes for you. Huh? But just before, I just got pajamas. Well, these aren't pajamas. With a bit of a flourish, I took it out of the bag to show her. After all, it was something that used up over half of this month's allowance, and I had spent 2 hours debating over which to get. Ta-da! One Piece! How is it? Do you like it? Oh, now we understand now why she wanted to buy Setsumi something too. She's very much. This is a very important part of Himiko's life, and it's something that not really trying to relive, but also kind of trying to relive. Happily, the girl vigorously nodded many times. It was a one-piece dress in summery white with a yellow sunflower pattern on it. All right, once you change, we're going right away. Going? Do you mean outside? Yes. We're going to church. Not exactly my idea of super fun, but hey, y'all knock yourselves out. As I answered, I undid the buttons on her pajamas. Truth was, for a while, she had said she wanted to visit the church. To be honest, going in pajamas would have been fine, but... Well, since we're going to the trouble, right? One-san, thank you. The burning sun and sound of cicadas. Today looked like it was going to be another hot day. Under that sky, we walked side by side. It was the first time we went outside the hospital. Of course, even if she said she wanted to go farther, I wouldn't be able to take her. No, not that I wouldn't be able to. No one would. That's why a place like the neighborhood church was the only place I could take her. In moments, we reached the church. I quietly opened the doors that I was used to passing through. There's no one around, is there? Well, at this time. The girl's expression turned slightly nervous, even considering her age. It was probably her first time coming to a church. God is in here? That's a hard question. To be precise, it was probably a consecrated place for the worship of God. At least for me, here and not here didn't seem like an answer I could give. But here the magic's effectiveness is different, right? It's something like that. And we approached the altar and offered prayers. I prayed for the girl's happiness. Even if the future were closed, at least until then, I wished that she would be without regrets. And the remaining half, for always holding many secrets, I prayed for my own forgiveness. So, party done? Then shall we go back? I'll take you back here anytime you want, okay? Thank you. And then we made to leave. Ah, One-san. Oh. Oh, you can't do that! May the bountiful blessings and grace of the Lord be upon you. I tried casting magic on One-san too. Saying that, her usual cheery expression faced me, without a single shadow and innocent smile faced me. Surely, she didn't understand the meaning of the words. However, even more so because of that, the sentiment made me really happy. And then, half of the prayer used for my own forgiveness. For me, who could do nothing other than buy ice cream for her, it was painful. Right above was the sun, noisy were the cries of the cicada. As usual, the hot days continued, and it was a summer day unchanged from yesterday, but a little bit changed with the girl. Up until now, she'd been so attached to me. But between one day and the next, she came to hold a bit of a distance. Good morning. Oh no. She's either kind of found out for sure that she's like dying, or she knows about her parents and she knows that we know and we never told her. Oh, and this is gonna be where it all wraps back around to kindness, isn't it? Oh, okay, here we go. Exchanging our morning greetings, I sat down in the usual folding chair. Then, when I looked up at the tray, she had already finished eating. Oh, leaving so much again? I'm sorry. Between one day and the next, she wound up barely eating. That's not good. You need to eat properly. But I'm not hungry. Well, if that's the case, we can eat in the cafeteria, okay? Even with that suggestion, no response. Though before, even if it wasn't for ice cream, she'd happily go. To not eat. That, on this 7th floor, was a deadly thing. Unlike other wards, full-blown nutrient IV drips were not given here. Of course, there's some sugar contained in them, but the main purpose was rehydration. The word deadly meant exactly that. It was immediately linked to death. You know, if you do this, very soon you'll get weaker. Get weaker? Yeah, if you don't eat, your body won't be able to hold up. Then, after getting weak? Huh? If my body gets even weaker, what will happen? Here my words stopped. In my throat, I swallowed the word die. Normally, preaching about life and death was the duty of the church. Our duty was also to support that. And here was the 7th floor, a place where we speak to those who have lived life peacefully of coming death. However, for a young girl, for a girl who could not have been said to have fully lived, just who in the world could speak of death now? Exactly in these times, maybe I should let her hear the words of St. Augustine or Lord Jesus, but for me, offering up half a prayer and buying ice cream was about all I could do. A few days after, late night. As always, the girl ate very little. And at the girl's side again, I was sleeping in the spare bed. Oh, she's getting sicker. Okay. You all right? Y'all can't hear it, I'm sure, but there is like a weird, consistent beeping happening outside, and I don't know what it is. And it's driving me nuts. And I've not stopped recording because I don't really want to do an edit. So you're just gonna have to bear with me while I go over here. I'm just gonna let it go and let it do its thing, because I don't think it's any of my business. If I blow up, well, then I guess this video won't be made. Anyway. Late at night, in the dark hospital room, the girl was coughing. Right now, all I could do was gently pat her back. The past few days, because she'd been leaving most of her food, it was visible that her strength was dropping. And now she was clearly avoiding me. If I spoke to her, she would barely make a response. The times where she would speak to me on her own completely disappeared. Amongst all that, suddenly, she opened her mouth. Say, One-san. Oh, don't give back the rosary. Ah, this, I'm giving it back. The rosary? What she took out of her pajama pocket was a rosary. Without a doubt, the one that I had given her before. She found out she's dying. She doesn't want... Oh, man. Okay. And also, I want you to not come here anymore. Why are you suddenly saying that? That's... There, her words stopped. Since a few days ago, the girl had definitely been acting strangely. And then, a single thing came to mind. This is something from a while ago, but... I'm sure you said that a lady you didn't know had spoken to you, right? And just maybe, it has something to do with the rules? At that question, there was no response. However, I felt the silence wasn't a no but a yes. I had been convinced it was a rumor, but it looks like that kind of legacy did exist, and most likely, the girl had heard it. If it's okay, will you tell One-san? But it's okay. I'll absolutely keep it a secret. They said I can't tell anyone. Finally, she cried. Even though until now, not once had she cried. Rules. Before, all that I had heard was that they were only passed to the residents of this 7th floor. I suppose it was only the problem of those who were headed towards death. That was why, for me, I might not have had the right to hear. No matter how close I was a Lois, I could not become the Patrash who accompanies them in death. In the end, nothing other than someone watching from the side. I'm sorry. I won't ask anymore. Simply just patting her back. so that just even a little bit sooner she would stop crying. Just a little bit sooner she would smile for me. Just a little bit sooner. The girl continued to cry. But the legacy that was passed down, what was in there was simple to imagine. Don't eat. That was the shortest route to death. That was something that as helpers had also suspected. Coming to a place like this 7th floor, people who died from the worsening of sickness was rare. Instead, seemingly all on their own, they gave up food, simply weakening and then dying. I learned that those were common. Most likely, it was not for their own sake. Financially, psychologically, for various reasons, it was probably an act stemming from wanting to lighten the burden of those left behind. I, who had become close, was beginning to be pushed away for the same reason. For the one leaving, it was to pain those left behind just a bit less. And also, on top of hearing those rules, there was a chance she learned that which I most feared. Say, One-san. Oh! I think she knows. And like, she just doesn't want us to lie. That's what I think. Dad, Mom, where are they? Oh, I'm going to die? There, my words choked. That doesn't tell me anything. Tell me the answer. I had thought to say something, but especially at a time like this, I knew that I had to say something. Even though I was supposed to know what kindness should be, even though I was supposed to be a Catholic in order to speak of life and death, and yet I could not find any words. Outside the window, there was a night sky that was beginning to lighten. In this narrow hospital room, the girl's sobs reverberated. Even though I was the professor, the doctor, I couldn't give an answer. At this time, if I were a real doctor of the church, if I were Augustine or Jerome, maybe I could have answered with something. Oh, God. Okay. We're going to do it. Oh, man. We're going to do another one. We're going to do it. We can do this. Okay. Outside the window was burning sunlight. Even though it was still early morning, the heat let you know it was going to be another midsummer day. Since last night, I hadn't seen Mother. More precisely, I had been on the brink of tears myself, filled with feelings of regret, and hadn't been able to face her. I'll apologize to Himeko-san. I felt really sorry to do so, but I didn't want to make Mother any more sad. Setsumi, are you awake already? Mother. It was just before Mother left for her part-time job. I'm sorry about yesterday. Well, here. The two of you eat it together, okay? As she spoke, she handed over lunch boxes for two. Take care. But it's fine. As your mother, I've thought it over. You're my precious daughter, but I can't be you. Softly, but with her usual kind face, she spoke. That's why, as your mother, I want it so that Setsumi can smile even just a bit more. I was headed to the hospital, in my hand the tote bag with 2 lunches. Early morning. Abruptly, my feet stopped at the usual school. It looked like today was the children hadn't come yet. As always, I was facing the metal bar, and after gazing at it for a while, I quietly stretched my hand out. Placing strength into my arms, I pulled with all my might while kicking the ground. For just a moment, a sense of floating, and my body spun around. A somersault I hadn't done in a month, and then, from that slight higher place, I looked around at the world. With arms that were beginning to shake from supporting my weight, this world that I could see, the me right now, as one of the parts that build up everyday life, might not appear to be out of place, but that was an illusion. It's not like I was accepted. Placing the school behind me, I headed toward the hospital. I was sure she was waiting, so I hurried to her. Sorry to keep you waiting. Here, it's parked in the rear parking lot again. I understand. As I responded, I accepted the car key. Then, I gave the message Himiko-san had entrusted to me. She said that this time would be the last. Last? One-chan said that? I was told to tell you that. I see. I see. Sadly, that was all Chihiro-san quietly murmured. Why was it you, I wonder? Behind those words was definitely a dissatisfaction for clearly being pushed away. And loneliness, sadness was there too. For being a kind and good person. Huh? Chihiro-san is different. Different? Yes. Different from us. I'm sorry, but I don't get your meaning. I don't really understand it myself. Why did I say those words, I wonder? The exact reason not even I knew, but now I had a feeling that I was coming to understand Himiko-san's feelings. But you know, even if I were different, I'm her sister. Spending up until 20 years together. Sisters, you know? The always composed and kind Chihiro-san was, for the first time, crying. That figure, it was neither the pleasant helper nor the resolved Catholic. Just simply a helpless girl. Even though I'm always praying for One-chan. Chihiro-san continued to cry, and the only thing that I could do was gently pat her on the back. Some other words or technique, I couldn't find them. Before, Himiko-san had said that for people who were there were only 3 choices. Perhaps Himiko-san didn't want Chihiro-san to be a Lois. I'm sorry, letting you see such a sight. Don't worry about it. Then I headed to Himiko-san. In my right hand, the key I received from Chihiro-san. In my left hand, 2 lunches that Mother had made for me. In the end, I didn't know what that final thing was. Even where we were headed, I hadn't been told. The parking lot. Here I waited for Himiko-san, who would probably be coming soon. The car called Yunos that I had got to ride last time was today also washed to a shine. Surely Chihiro-san, or the person we met before at the beach, was always keeping it clean. As I thought about that... Sorry I've made you wait. Himiko-san finally appeared, as always taking the key as if it were perfectly natural. However, her clothes were different from normal. They were probably work clothing? Something like white overalls, and were clothes that you wouldn't call pretty, even insincerely. 0W2. 0. What in the world? What are those clothes? For today, it won't do without these clothes. Me in pajamas would have no meaning, you see. Even though normally whatever she did had been in pajamas, was it that today she was not a resident of the 7th floor? Get in, Setsumi! I climbed inside the car. Like before, I was made to put on my seatbelt. And once that was verified, quietly the engine started. Well, we're going! Looking up, the sun was high above, and it looked to be another hot day. Under that sky, with a big turn of the wheel, the Yunos slowly moved out. Exactly where we were headed, what we were going to do, I didn't know, however. Just like this, Himiko-san's final drive began. Oh, we're doing the insert song again. We're gonna do it. Thanks, game. Really know how to emphasize a moment. Reflecting the deep blue sky while running a red, open-top car. A light engine noise was raised as familiar scenery went by, drowning out the voices of the cicadas as it continued on. Passing the intersection in front of the hospital, in moments we came out onto a large road. And so, where are we headed? A high place. I'm asking for the specific location. Well, I don't know. Huh? That was a bit unexpected. It was Himiko-san after all, so whatever she said, I hadn't planned on being surprised, but... Is that supposed to mean that you'll be going on as you please? Well, a bit different. As the words are, I meant a high place. With just that, it was so abstract, I had no idea. Well, I think I'll decide by the time we get out onto the national road. Was it already decided, or was it something that could be decided so easily? Besides, even if a destination were decided, what about the route all the way there? There was no navigation system, and even though she was always looking at maps, it didn't look like she brought them today. Don't worry, no matter where we go, we won't be lost, because remember, wherever you go, you are there. How can you say that so confidently? Well, that's because I've already memorized all of Japan. The response came as if it were perfectly natural. Was that possible? It's not like I was doubting Himiko-san's words, but for me, it was quite unbelievable. Besides that, what I need right now, if it isn't a navigation system, it's also not a doctor. Then what? Indeed. Then, after a moment of thinking, it's Professor Croquette. Again, saying that. The roadster continued on, from the city to the suburbs, then as green started standing out once more, lowering the speed we drove while eating Mother's lunch with our hands. But Setsumi, it's surprising that your family gave you their permission, wasn't it? For staying out? Yeah, it was kind of weird. By the way, in your family, I've become what sort of person? Someone from a normal ward? Maybe a nurse? Himiko-san saw through everything. Certainly until yesterday, that was exactly how it was. I let them know that you're someone from the 7th floor. Oh, that's quite amazing. I've revised my opinion of you a bit. But it still seems that you're still unable to say you don't like these, huh? As she spoke, what she had in her hands were the lunch's fries. Well then, One-san here will teach you a special way. Something like that exists? Yeah, it's very simple. You just need to come to like them. Certainly, it might be exactly that, but don't say difficult things. Oh, really? I think it's much easier than curing your sickness. I'm sure it was exactly as Himiko-san said. If my sickness were cured, then all the problems would be solved. Mother, who had reddened her hands, would not be sad, would once again smile and have beautiful manicures. Even that I understood, but it was something that I couldn't do anything about on my own. Compared to that, coming to like fries might be a simple thing. The roadster continued on, its red hood reflecting the blazing sky. And then, just as the sun was about to come close to its highest point, what approached before us was an even bigger road. In moments, we'll come out onto the national roads. As she spoke, she pulled the car into the shoulder and stopped. Decided on a destination? Still debating a bit. Hearing nothing other than a high place, just what exactly she was debating over, I had no clue. Well, I guess if you're talking about high places, then it's Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji? If I hadn't been mistaken, that certainly was what it sounded like. Whatever you say, it's #1 in Japan after all, right? That really couldn't be thought of as serious. Mount Fuji, height 3,776 meters, probably didn't need saying, but Japan's highest mountain. I didn't know too much, but I had heard that snow remained even in the summer. For the winter, I had heard that only true mountain climbers could take it on. Well, shall we aim for it? Mount Fuji? I think you're kind of being a little crazy right now. I know, I'm not stupid. It's not like I'm aiming for the summit or anything. You can go up to the 5th station by car, and even that has about 2,000 meters to it. Even saying that, it's not like we had to go all the way to such a place. Even for normal people, it already had a reputation, and the two of us, at the least, couldn't be called healthy. And in Himiko-san's case, she was a resident of the 7th floor. Besides, compared to the 7th floor, it's a place that's 100 times higher. Those words, I just quietly listened to. I wasn't positive, but maybe Himiko-san really was going to jump down. I recalled before, while on the roof, she whispered, "This height, it's not enough," while looking at the fence. First, we'll head from Route 6 towards the Tohoku Expressway. With just that announcement, the roadster once again began running. Heading towards the national road, she turned the wheel. From here to Mount Fuji, just how much distance was there? For me, I didn't even have an estimate. All I knew was Himiko-san was not joking, but serious. And also, she most likely would not get lost. From the national road onto an even bigger road, then we switched onto expressways. Same as before, perhaps because she was driving her usual safe way, the cars on the right side lane were rapidly passing by. Eventually, we came to a place with many tall buildings. It seemed that we had entered the Tokyo area. From the Itabashi Junction, we'll have to go to Ikebukurosen. The road that had been straight until now changed to one that twisted. On that congested expressway, the roadster drove even slower. Just now, the one that passed us was an Audi. And before that was a Pajero, a new model, a Geomaster. Occasionally, Himiko-san would name the cars that passed us on the expressway. It's a mysterious thing, isn't it? Just when it was decided I was going to go to the 7th floor, I came to love cars much more. As she spoke, she slowly turned the wheel, matching the large curve ahead of us. The expression seemed somewhat sad and also somewhat nostalgic to me. Do you also like cars? I don't know. Hey, if it's all right with you, should I give this to you? With her free hand, she pointed at her own car. How about it? Would you accept? After a moment's thought, I shook my head to the side. More so than the problem of not having a license, I felt it was something that I shouldn't accept. Oh, I see. Everyone's gone and turned me down. From the Tokyo Gaikon Expressway, we'll get on the Tomei Expressway. With those words and a big turn of the wheel, the car shook just a bit. It felt that the Himiko-san in the driver's seat was different from usual. Not only were her clothes different, but this somehow strict expression was more common. The high place that we were going all the way to, Mount Fuji. Without a doubt, it was a height that the 7th floor's roof couldn't even compare with. Was she really planning on jumping down? And how would I get home? And the 10 things to do before dying. That final thing, just what kind of purpose did it hold, I wonder? All right. That is going to do it this time around. So we'll go in and we'll get saved. We'll get saved. This is a game with a lot of religious, a lot of religious overtones. Sure, we'll get saved. All right. That's a really good one, I feel like we are kind of cruising toward the end of things now. We're just gonna drive to Mount Fuji, sure, why not? We're gonna drive up Mount Fuji, why not? Feel like maybe we probably should have packed a little more substantial of a lunch for that, but we will find out the next time we're together. So you have a nice rest of your whatever, wherever you are. And we'll catch you next time.